Hello. We have another lunation, this time a penumbral full moon lunar eclipse. They only come on full moons. And the earth is between the sun and our lunar satellite. The beautiful timekeeper, the biggest billboard on the planet, telling us where we are in time and space, is being eclipsed right now in the part of the sky that is symbolized by tropical Scorpio, planet of deep emotion and fixed water, and Sidereal Libra, symbolized by the scales, the social air sign. You know, the progression from Libra to Scorpio represents coming into a relationship and then having the kind of experience of self-transcendence through relationship. And I think that's why people often confuse maybe Scorpio with that smoldering sexuality. It's more of a transcendent experience of unity. And for me, because of the things that I like to study and the things that I'm interested in, that means the wholeness and the oneness of the universe. A certain type of enlightenment that comes when you see everything as whole is represented in these two signs in their combination together. So we're going to do a little full moon lodge spread, because this is a great time, as all these lunations generally are, for looking inward, trying to get centered and grounded, because we look to the opposite of these signs, right? Where the sun is in Aries in the Vedic Sidereal, and in Taurus in the tropical, for like the remedy or the antidote, the other end of the spectrum, the other side of the equation, the balancing and answering part. So we get grounded with Taurus and we start anew in Aries. And I'm thinking that we need a new way of thinking. And I wrote an entire blog post about that, and I will put a link to it in the description if you're interested in reading. Might be something that you would want to do for the lunar eclipse to just honor that period of time. But for right now, we're just going to work with these animal cards and do a moon lodge spread. Beginning with the East card, this is the spiritual nature that we find when we center inward and rip away the veil of deception. Maybe we've been deceiving ourselves about something and we want to get real clear about the spiritual nature of this moment, and as eclipses affect the next 6 months going forward, the nature of that time period. And this card is Ant. Ant is about patience. Ant is about the kind of communication that comes from having generally a food line, right? The gravy train, as people call it, but sending out scouts because you know that eventually that food's going to run out, that the resources are going to become scarce. So while you use the food supply that you have now, you organize a posse to go out and find the next kind of food supply that you're going to need. So this idea of patience, of yes, I have what I have now and I'm using my resources wisely, but I need to think about the future and I need to proceed cautiously with discipline and in an organized fashion. It's difficult to be patient right now. There's a lot of backed up energy. That whole situation with the stellium in Vedic Aries is very impatient energy. And then the stellium, along with the sun in tropical Taurus, is a very stubborn energy. We don't want to be stubborn in our patience. We do want to have like a sense of trust, a sense of faith. And I think that's what all this anticipation and buildup is really bringing us toward. The spiritual nature of this moment and the next 6 months is about patience. Patience. So we'll put that in the east position. And then we'll move to the south position. This is the new growth card, the seed card. And it will represent where, you know, the Eastern card is kind of the talent, the ability that we can use, the thing we're trying to cultivate in the next 6 months. This is kind of your real feelings. This Southern card, this new growth or seed card. And that card is dog, loyalty. And we've had loyalty come up a lot in the last couple of readings. The kind of loyalty that we needed to decondition ourselves from, the kind of loyalty that was hurtful to us. This feels like the kind of loyalty that's a new loyalty, a new trust, a new way of proceeding. And because it's in the southern position, it makes me think it's kind of a loyalty to self and a loyalty to our own true nature and the true nature of the world. Not buying into the illusion or the Maya, but the true nature, the wholeness, this oneness that we want to see. We want a world that is based in love and understanding, and we've been talked out of it. And that to me is the greatest crime in a myriad, like so many crimes, right, going on right now. But the worst, hardest, most difficult for me personally to deal with is that we don't have a world that's built on the ethics of our interdependence. We are. And we don't fully understand the biomechanics of life. We certainly can't create it. And for all our hubris and the way that we think we've got everything figured out, we really don't know what it is that we're doing here. And for me, the best way to proceed in a situation like that is as if you are a guest in the most loving, compassionate, and understanding, tolerant way that you possibly can. I know I am alone in this in a lot of different ways, but that's what this is representing to me, is a loyalty to your own plan, your ethical considerations. The ones that I just described are, of course, mine, and you don't have to, be easy with understanding your own in the way that I am. Maybe it's a good time to think about what ideas you're loyal to. Maybe it's a good time to get your own plan so that you don't become part of someone else's plan. That's the way I'm looking at the South card of loyalty right now. My true feelings were kind of what I described there. But what are your true feelings about loyalty? What does this card bring up for you when you think about the next 6 months going forward in a way that's loyal, maybe in a new way, and maybe to yourself more so than anything else? The third card is the West card. The card of the West is the real purpose or the dream within the next 6 months. What is the dharma of the moment? The way forward is Turtle. This is Mother Earth. Turtle Island. Turtles all the way down. The creature that pulls into itself, into its own home, and is safe there. There's an idea of safety in this card. And there's also, again, and do realize I'm talking about my own beliefs here, this idea of wholeness, of totality, of an entire world. We don't have the luxury of really thinking of ourselves as individuals. We're ants in that food line, right? When the food runs out, when the beads go away, when the water dries up, we're all one organism. And if we're not looking after our resources, our planet, our mother, we can have some dire consequences. So, it's the real purpose. We're really here to realize this unity, bring it all together, bring everyone into the fold, exclude no one, leave no one out, leave no one behind, as they say, right? That's the lesson of Mother Earth. She loves unconditionally. You can't get it wrong with her. She's going to love you no matter what. And she does so. We see that in the resources that we're freely given. The true economy of the earth is you put one seed into the ground and you get 10,000 back. There's no shortage here. There's no lack. There's just our lack of will to be able to see the oneness and the wholeness of what's in front of us. Being loyal to that idea takes patience because you have to use the idea over and over in order to fully elaborate it and be able to see it as easily as we see the conditioning of separation. That's our Western card, the real purpose, the dream within. The inner wisdom of this moment and going forward into the next 6 months is the North card. The inner wisdom of the next 6 months is represented by Rabbit. Interesting. Fear. Rabbit calls its fear to it. And I really like that it's across from the loyalty card and we're reminded of the true purpose of our patience, right? If you are loyal to your fear, if you are consistently facing the world with an attitude of defense, flight, fight, fawn, freeze, then the world will behave in the way you envision it. And I really think that we've gotten ourselves backed into a corner with this. We have truly exhausted the ragged edge of fear here. And knowing that this is the card of inner wisdom, we can't not be in a fearful state if we are, right? Otherwise, that's just false positivity. And that isn't something that's going to help us. Fear is a helpful emotion. It's a feeling, right? And it becomes an emotion if we live there. And we've been living there. What is the wisdom of the fear that we're living in now? Are we more afraid of being a unified whole? Are we more afraid of each other? Are we more afraid of living the consequences of seeing ourselves as whole? Do we lack the patience? Are we afraid that we're too impatient to heal, to live a life outside fear? Because while we're in this energy, while this is prevailing, all we're going to be able to do is react. I think the inner wisdom of having this as a North card is that we can learn response, right? The fear never really leaves for courageous people. They act with the fear present. And as I said, fear can often be a very helpful thing. We don't want to be fearless in the face of, tigers. We don't want to be fearless in the face of venomous snakes. We want to be sure that we have a healthy dose of fear and that we proceed cautiously, carefully, in a responsive way. So I think that's the inner wisdom that comes from fear. And when we are patient and loyal to our principles, and our principles are grounded in what's real, right? The eternal is real. The material is not. It's temporal. We can prove that. So if we're eternal, what should we fear? Only our own responses, only our own reactions. So we'll place that in the North and remember that we're carrying our fear with us, but it's not to control us. The card in the center of the Moon Lodge spread is the personal unconscious. It's a power shield of integration. So it takes all of these energies and brings them together. And that card is Elk. Ooh. I like and hate this card for this at this moment, because this card symbolizes stamina. It's endurance. It's outlasting the bastards, right? And the only wisdom that I have to give you on this one is get yourself in nature. Do like Taurus and hike, swim, breathe the free air, live your free life with less fear, less reactive fear. Go forward knowing that whatever the next 6 months, the fearful future has out there for us, we'll probably outlast it as long as we keep ourselves healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I can't tell you what that means for you, but for me that means my connection to nature, my connection to the earth, my willingness to be patient, because I want to know what lessons Spirit has in mind for me. I want to know why my soul brought me here. I want to know what I should be loyal to and what I should be fearful of. And I want to endure until I find these things out. So that's pretty clear. That's our integration card. That is the personal power shield, endurance. Oh, this is the card that will not leave me alone in life. Weasel is the animal that told the Native Americans of the coming of the white people. This is a message from a messenger. And it's not always good news. But that doesn't mean that we should let our fears make us become reactionary. It means there are challenges here. We want to know about them. It's difficult to discern the truth, especially when we're born in the illusion as we are right now, this avidya, the concealment, the ignorance that we're born into, and the conditioning of subject-object separation, right? We believe there's an us and them in this place, and then we build preferences, raga and dvesha, on top of that. We build these patterns of samskars, and we lose our equanimity. We lose our ability to look at the situation for the facts that they are. We lose ourselves in our preferences and our habits and our patterns. You know, the deluded mind, the illusionary mind, sees the rut of duality everywhere. It's an us against them scenario all the time in the divided mind. But if we are the kind of people who hear the call of unity, if we're loyal to the practice and we consider what we need to do to endure our fears, to become patient people, then we can develop a practice that will carry us to the place where we can be in our enlightenment a little bit more often and out of our reflexive and reactive fear into the feeling of, yes, this is the way that things are. I will be patient with them. I will be loyal to my ideals. My ideals are grounded in reality. And my fears are with me, but I will endure those too. Weasel is the card of stealth. And that's why this card is a little bit hard. For me personally, because I get judged for hiding quite a bit. And it's true. I do. I am biding time until 2026, and I'm not ready to be in confrontation with some of these larger powers of darkness until I understand my fear. So stealth is a little bit an overall feeling of be inward during this eclipse, stay with the lessons that I'm trying to learn. And these are all what I lay out in my basically online journal, my personal journey, right? Stay with those, fly under the radar for now, and don't put your head above the parapet until more clarity and grounding is available to you. The way forward, the endurance card in the center, this personal power shield, is to carry us to a place of further enlightenment where we feel patient, loyal, grounded, in good relationship with our fears and ready to endure. And if that's today for you, then proceed forward. But this card cautions stealth, right? This card cautions stay safe. And your safety, your love, your understanding are the most important things. Protect them. Protect yourselves. I hope to see you again at the next new moon. It's a little bit lighter energy, I'm hoping. We do have some work to do. And I think those of you who are called to this kind of thing and are interested in what I'm doing, you're probably doing it. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate the work you do every single day. just being a human. All right. Peace.